Okay, I'm here with Linda.
Hi.
Not going to say your last name? Linda, thanks for coming on. You and I have been friends since, I think, 30 years now.
Yeah, long time.
So I really appreciate you coming on. Excited to have you on South Coast Chronicles. This podcast is just about stories in recovery and people's life stories and where you came from and what happened. You've been sober
32 years.
32 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I met you when you had 2 years sober and I had 0. So,
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Long time.
So where were you born?
I was born here in Orange County, Orange, California.
Orange?
Mm-hmm.
Did you grow up in Orange?
No.
Santa Ana, right?
No, actually, my mom was from Fullerton, my dad was from Santa Ana. They met when they were like 13 years old. They had me when they were 16.
They were both 16.
Mm-hmm. 16, I think my dad might have been 17 or almost 17.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Flo and Bobby
So a lot of experience there.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and my dad was, when I was born, my father was in youth authority. He wasn't even around.
Yeah.
My dad was a heroin addict at that time.
I got the privilege of knowing both, and I know
Yep.
Flo, and I knew your dad.
Yeah.
Just funny people, man.
Yeah,
so,
he was a good.
I'm gonna scoot that in a little bit.
He was a character, my dad.
Yeah. So your mom and dad were 16 years old. Mm-hmm. You were born. Was your mom living with her parents, or?
I believe she was living with my grandma. Yeah.
Okay.
My grandma and grandpa had already gotten a divorce.
And you're the oldest of 3?
No, Okay,
so
so
like
I'm the oldest between. I'm the oldest of. There's 9 of us. I'm the oldest of my mom and my dad's 3.
Okay, that's you,
My
your sister in Florida,
and my brother.
and your brother
Robert.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then in between my sister and my brother, because my dad was a heroin addict and in and out of prison my whole life.
Right.
And so during one of his prison stints, my mom got pregnant by somebody else.
Okay.
And so she ended up having another child that she put up for adoption right after she had it.
Okay.
And so we, as kids, didn't even know that she had a baby.
Okay.
So we didn't even know that had occurred.
Yeah.
So she had that one, so that's 4.
Okay.
So then my mom got remarried and had 2 more, so that's 7.
Okay.
Or no, 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
No, and then my dad had 3 more and got remarried and had 3 more, so that's 9.
Okay. I didn't realize you had 9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about it,
3 brothers.
I mean, I met your
Robert
and is it Gail?
Gloria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know those 2.
Yeah.
Wow. So your mom's 16 years old. She's
She
raising
just,
you
she
as a
just
kid.
turned 80.
And she just turned 80.
Yeah.
So what was that like growing up in that household? Like, what do you remember
so-
like from your childhood?
Growing up, it was a lot of chaos. My mom worked, and so I think most of the time somebody was watching us, like my grandma or one of my aunts. But like at my grandma's house, my grandma had 7 kids. So, my 2 uncles were gone. They had gone to Vietnam. And so the rest of it was a lot of chaos at that house. There was
A lot of kids running around. And
a lot of kids, though. Each of my aunts and my mom's sisters, they all had kids. 2 of my mom's 2 older sisters were in and out of prison. Then we had the uncles, from, marriage. And it was just a lot of chaos. Police would come. Kids couldn't go to the bathroom because the adults were in there shooting up. And
Right.
it was a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you telling a story about your parents taking you down to Mexico.
Oh, yeah. That was, I'm glad my dad's gone. My dad died, so did my grandma, but we would go down to Mexico. I remember this very vividly because I was a little kid and, I was excited because I was riding back home with my grandma, but we would go down there, and I don't know where we would go, some neighborhood or something. And I remember I don't know if it was my dad or my grandma or my mom or somebody they would put like a big old thing. It was a baggie, and it smelled really bad. It smelled like vinegar. It was heroin. And they would stick it in my underwear. And I would be in the car with my grandma driving across the border because, it was like I'm with a little kid with my grandma. As long as I knew how to say, I'm an American citizen, it was okay because they didn't really ask for your passport. You didn't really need that back in those days. We're talking the 60s. And so, but I got to, my grandma would let me like that Mexican cheese. It smells really strong. So she would let me like gorge myself. So I was gorging myself on fresh tortillas and Mexican cheese because it smells very pungent.
Yeah.
And they were trying to camouflage the heroin smell. And so I remember doing that, and I was a drug mule.
So just growing up around drugs and alcohol was normal for you?
It was. I didn't know what was going on, and I knew better than to say anything or to ask any questions. It was just kind of normal. My mom would smoke weed because my mom wasn't a heroin addict. My mom likes to smoke. She still smokes weed. Yeah. And she was super stoned last week at her birthday. But she loves to smoke weed. And
something I've always and I've been around a lot of your family functions, and I've always noticed is there's always laughter, and it always seems fun. Everybody seems close.
We laugh at ourselves.
Although there's dysfunction,
big time.
You grew up in a household that
it's crazy.
It was crazy, but it seemed like at least from an outsider that got to kind of be a part of your family a little bit, you guys have a lot of love for each other.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. Even though your dad was in and out of prison, I met your dad a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And he would come over and
he was funny.
He was funny, and he was the life of the party, and you could tell there was a lot of love for you and your daughters, and so it wasn't all bad, right? So,
No. No, I mean, initially, and we all had our growing pains, but you can't forgiveness is kind of the thing, it's we have to do it, in order to be able to exist.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it was with our family.
So growing up in that life, when is your kind of first experience with experimenting with drinking?
Actually smoking weed on my own. I think I was 12.
Yeah.
And I started stealing. My mom used to always have weed. And I mean, growing up, I used to think I was amazing because this was back in the old days when weed was a bunch of stems and seeds, and you had to clean it. And so I would go, Mom, can I do it? And I would clean her weed for her and roll her joints with the little joint roller machine. And I just thought I was it because I knew how to roll Mom's joints. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that this was. I mean, I don't think I knew that it was weed, and I was.
There's anything wrong. You're just a kid doing
I didn't realize it was illegal.
Yeah.
I wasn't telling anybody at school that I was doing this.
Right.
Yeah. Probably would have gotten taken away from her.
So you're 12, you smoke weed for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember, I used to take weed from my mom. Yeah. Because she always had weed. So
that's where it kind of started. You're smoking weed.
Smoking weed.
And then what? How did your
smoking weed, and then I wasn't always able to get it, so I started hanging out with whoever you're hanging out with at school, and they were doing all kinds of other weird things, and so I just started whatever anybody else was doing. I was kind of, once I figured out that it was something I wanted to do. Yeah. It was easy to do anything else. Yeah. So I just did.
So did it have any kind of bad effects on you? And it was middle school, high school. Did your grades start to drop, or did you kind of keep your grades together? Or?
I really wasn't super academic. Yeah. So I was a average C student. And I wasn't really that. I didn't have. Well, the thing that it was bad was that I didn't have goals. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that or didn't think that I wanted to go to college or do anything different with my life. It was kind of, I don't know what I thought.
Yeah.
I just kind of was like floating, and like whatever happened was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to be married.
That was your goal, is to get married,
Yeah.
have some kids.
Yeah, have some kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to high school?
I went to Newport Harbor.
Okay. So right down the street,
Right
Newport
down
Harbor.
the street. Class of
right?
78.
Class of 78.
Sheesh, I'm old.
Yeah. So what was high school like?
High school, I was, okay, believe it or not, I was incredibly shy in high school. Like I
don't believe that.
I was super shy in high school. I couldn't talk to people. I had like maybe a couple of friends. I was like I would smoke weed or that kind of thing. Like before school.
Yeah.
I remember one time in English class that I just got done smoking a joint, and I came to class and some kid was like, "Oh my God, you smell like," he was like, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh my God,"
yeah.
super loud. I was like, "Oh no," because I was the kind of person that didn't want any attention.
Yeah.
Like, this is super uncomfortable for me.
Right.
Right now, what we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Like, I didn't want any
You're doing
attention. I just wanted to be under the radar,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was there drinking in high school, or is it just mainly weed? I mean, what
well,
else
I
were
think
you
I
doing?
would. Yeah, I would drink. Well, see, my mom. Okay, at this point, my mom had gotten remarried, and we were living over here in Dover Shores. Mom married better. She married up, and so we were living in Dover Shores, and they had like a bar.
Right.
And so my sister and I, my mom didn't care if we drank. Like she didn't. It wasn't a thing. Like. As long as whatever we were doing, we did it at home, she was okay with it. As long as it wasn't like something gnarly, like,
Right.
And then she would like investigate it. She'd try it with us. And then if it was too crazy, she would say, "No, we don't want you doing that anymore." I think I got my mom to smoke some angel dust before.
So you and your mom
She did
smoked
not
Angel
like
Dutch in
it.
the 70s.
She did not like it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she didn't, it wasn't a big thing. Like we would go up into the wine, or not in the wine, the bar upstairs, and we would put like we would make nasty drinks with just
Mixing whiskey and
whatever,
vodka,
whiskey,
yeah.
vodka, whatever they had.
Yeah.
We would mix it together, and my sister and I would take turns
Yeah.
schwug,
Yeah.
drinking the whatever was in there, get drunk.
And so like
be
no real
stupid.
consequences, just kind of a normal kid, just cruising, going to
I don't know about normal, but yeah.
Newport Harbor in the
yeah,
70s
yeah.
and smoking pot and drinking and trying a little drugs here or there, which was,
Yeah,
yeah.
started doing a lot of drugs. Because, back in those days we had like Reds, Seconal,
Yeah.
and Quaaludes.
Yeah.
So we had the good stuff back then.
And that was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember it like having any kind
Reds. I used to do red. Like I loved, because I am super hyper as it is.
Yeah.
So I like to go. I like to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked the Reds. Back in those days, though, we had a lot of like the whites, and the black beauties, and
Yeah.
so it was like all that speed stuff. But that wasn't my favorite. I mean,
Right.
I would do it because whatever
there.
if it was there.
Yeah.
But I preferred to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's high school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
High school
pills
and beyond.
Angel Dust with your mom, and
Yeah.
no real consequences in high school.
No, I graduated. I was the first one to graduate high school in my entire family, both sides.
Oh wow.
Yeah, both sides. I mean, my uncle was graduating from law school at the same time I was graduating from high school.
Yeah.
But he didn't graduate high school.
He had to get a
He
GED.
went to he went to Vietnam.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you graduate from high school,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's the progression from there?
I graduated from high school, again, no direction, nothing. I mean, I was going to Orange Coast. I ended up getting a boyfriend and moving out of the house with my boyfriend. I think that was kind of because prior to that, I had not I hadn't tried any I hadn't injected myself with anything.
Right.
That was like still taboo, because I knew my dad was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So
And the whole time you were going to school, your dad was in and out of jail.
in and out of prison,
or
yeah. In and out of prison. And I mean, for a long time, he didn't go to prison. When he got remarried to my his second wife, Lori, he stayed out of prison for a while, and he did well. He was, trying to do church and doing different things to kind of heal himself.
Yeah.
Unsuccessful. He kept, falling back and forth, and but yeah, he did a lot of time. He wasn't going back in and out for a while, for a long time, for a lot of years.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that like, having a dad in and out of jail, and you're going to Newport Harbor with a bunch of beach kids? How did that feel? Did you keep that secret? Was it
I
something
wasn't
that
telling
was
anybody that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Something that maybe you were kind of embarrassed about, or
well, remember, I didn't hardly have any friends, so it wasn't really like I was.
You didn't have nobody.
I didn't have to tell anybody.
So you just go
anything.
home and hang out with your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I had cousins and other friends and different. Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you move in with this guy, and then
David.
And then what happened?
He became a heroin addict, and
After you moved in with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he got really bad, and because at first we were doing well. He had started a little business, and and then the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the shit hit the fan with that guy, but you didn't do heroin with this guy, or you
No,
did?
I did not do heroin with that guy. No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't do it till after.
Till after. Okay, so you dumped this guy because he's doing heroin eventually.
No,
like,
I
what
mean, it was
happened?
more than that. We were, it was a lot. We, police raided, taking him to jail,
Yeah.
taking me to jail.
Yeah.
Just.
Had you been to jail?
I don't think I had. No, I think that was probably the
All right,
first
so
time.
Tell me about the first time you went to jail.
It was Norwalk substation. I was living in Whittier, and so they took us to the Norwalk substation, and I called my mom because of course she's gonna come. So she
So
came.
they raided him, and you were there.
Well, it was our house. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what. I think he shot somebody.
Oh.
Yeah, and so somebody had came to rob us because they knew he had drugs.
Yeah.
And so he shot him.
Okay.
And
At your house.
yes.
Okay.
And so the police came, and I had put everything in my purse. So, anyways, they arrested us, and so they take me to jail. I call my mom because, of course, she's the person I'm going to call, and she came down and raised hell, and why do you have my daughter? And was like, all indignant, like,
Yeah.
how dare you,
Yeah.
Anyway, she got me out, and I think everything, ended up being on him. I didn't end up having any consequences from that.
Yeah, he took the rap for
Yeah. And then we ended up breaking up after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did it progress to the point where you started using heroin? Because you were scared of it. Your dad had been in and out of jail.
Well, I just didn't want that life. Like, I saw how my dad was living, and not that it was. Because at points he was successful at it. He was selling drugs, he was making all kinds of money, he was buying all kinds of property, he was doing all kinds of things, and he bought me my car when I was 16. Like, just, it wasn't like I didn't see any downside, but it was still scary to me. And I didn't want that kind of life. And I knew, like, my mom's two older sisters were heroin addicts, and my aunt, one of my mom's sister, my Aunt Catherine, she died of a heroin overdose. So I just, I was scared.
Yeah.
And so after David, I just, I was partying with these guys, and they were going to do it, and I just said, yeah, I want some.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you'd been scared of it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to try it.
You had actual proof from people that you love that this is not the life you want to live.
Yeah.
And you tried it.
Yeah.
What was that like the first time you tried it?
It was nice. I liked it.
You were like, oh, wow.
I hate to say that. I was like, it was like, I didn't get sick. Like some people say you get sick right away. I didn't get sick. It was very relaxing. I just felt like super like Gumby. And remember I said I'm like super hyper all the time. And so it was just kind of like, it took me down to like a breathable level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that part of like a lot of us addicts and alcoholics talk, like it
Yeah.
put us in a place where we felt okay with dealing with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did it go
I haven't
from?
even thought about all this stuff in a long time.
So where did it go from there? Like, did you do it
I-
again right away? Was it you just off and running, or did
no,
it take some
I mean,
time?
yeah. What happened? Well, in between that time, I ended up meeting some other guy, my Monique's dad.
Okay.
And I ended up pregnant, and so, I tried to get my shit together a little bit. I was living with my mom, and he was kind of like my dad because he was in and out of jail as well. And when she was born, he was in jail, and so
How old's Monique now?
she's 41.
So this was like 42 years ago, 43 years ago.
42 years. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I was living here in Newport,
Yeah.
pregnant, and so I tried to get my shit together. Of course, I mean, I was probably still getting loaded every now and then, more often than not, and praying that nothing would go wrong with my baby and everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And not something I'm proud of. Very, very ashamed of that. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Part
It's
of your
the truth.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, we're powerless. We'll put it in front of anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
mattered.
Yeah, we talk about that. I've talked about that on several of my podcasts. It's like, Joey, and like how much I love Joey, and like I'd do anything for him. And my other two kids haven't known me drunk. And
Yeah.
I don't think Catherine's known you drunk.
Nope.
But I would put drugs and alcohol over being a father when
Absolutely.
I was in that point. And you saw me do it. You know what I mean? And
Sure did.
It's 100%. Yeah. We'll reverse these roles another podcast. But
Chris passed out on my couch.
yeah. Your couch was my rehab more than once. That's for sure.
With this bottle of Crown
Yeah,
Royal.
yeah.
Oh God.
But it's like we talk about that, and that just proves to me that this isn't a moral issue. It's not a choice. Once we cross that line, it's like we're powerless. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
so Monique comes along.
Monique comes along,
Yeah, and then what?
and then
So he's in jail when
Monique's born.
her father is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we didn't end up together. Well, we kind of ended up back and forth together because he had me and another girl. We both had kids from him, and so he would go back and forth from her to me, and anyway, he ended up. She was 2 years, almost 3, and he was murdered.
Yeah.
And we weren't together at that point, and I came home, and I don't remember. I think it was my mom. My mom was at my house, being to tell me that he had died, and it was oof. I'm right back there. It was really painful.
Yeah. And he passed away. That was Monique's dad. But you continued to.
Oh, I
use
went.
drugs.
So after that, it was it was a perfect excuse. It was pour me
Right.
anything, and I was just off to the races, and I ended up. Well, prior to that, I ended up in rehab, and it was the first time I'd ever been to rehab, and I did not stay sober. It was not it wasn't. It was kind of more. It was like the philosophy that all people are capable of change, which is true, but there was not really any tools for the
Yeah.
change to occur.
Yeah.
So I think they
This
had.
was at that rehab.
This was at that
So it
rehab.
wasn't like 12-step based or anything
no,
like
no,
that.
no,
It was.
no.
Yeah.
No tools. It was kind of like, you could do it. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You got this,
Good job.
and
Yeah.
get on it,
Yeah.
and I was like, but I messed up, and so I just kept going, and I kept going and kept going and kept going, and I kept trying to fix myself, trying to pick myself back up, because I knew what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
I knew, I wasn't ready to just let it all go. I mean, I kind of was, but I wasn't, like, I mean, at one point I was living at my grandma's on her couch with my kid, and I think that was probably the lowest. It wasn't like
your whole family would just go back to grandma's house. That was the safe spot, right?
Grandma's my granny goose.
Yeah.
My little goose.
Yeah.
She saved me. She helped me raise my kid.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for her, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
I would have been in the street.
Yeah.
Because my mom at that point was not allowing me to her house.
She was over it.
She was over it. She'd see me pull up and she'd come running out the door and tell me to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It was
because of the heroin.
Oh, because
use
of
and all
everything.
that.
She just was not, she was not having it.
Yeah.
She was like, she saw me, I think I weighed like, I'm like 150 pounds right now. And at that point I was 95 pounds.
Oh, wow.
95 pounds. I wore like size 12 little girls and I thought I looked good.
Yeah.
I was like supermodel.
Yeah.
It was like, yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was sick. I was super gross. Yeah.
Okay, so you're living on your grandma's couch.
Yeah.
Just running.
Yeah.
Knowing you need
to fix it.
I
ended up getting a job.
Yeah.
And trying to pull myself together. I mean, I'd done that a lot of times and never was able to do it. And then, but yeah, I started trying to pull myself together, got a job. Then I weaned myself off the drugs and was just started drinking, thinking that, drinking is legal. Everybody does it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Ministers and priests, they drink. I can drink. It's okay.
So you quit doing the heroin and just started drinking?
Started drinking.
Daily?
Not initially.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting better. I thought that I was getting better. I was just drinking. And I would drink on the weekends. And then I started drinking, the weekends. Because I was really trying. Like, my kid was like, I was all she had.
And she was everything to you, yeah.
And so, not that she changed anything, but it was, you have a conscience.
Yeah.
And so, I started drinking every day. It was just the weekends, and then the weekends started going longer. They started on Thursday, and they would end on Monday, and then it was like Tuesday to Wednesday, and it was just every day. And then I became a daily blackout drinker. And I remember I had that job. I was working for the County of Orange.
But you had that job for a long time, right?
Yeah. Before I got sober. Mm-hmm. And they, you have to punch your boss or something. They're not going to fire you. Mm-hmm. You have to do something heinous to get fired from there. So I could be a drunken mess, and drink on my lunch and, be a mess. It's okay because I'm working for the county.
You're in the union.
I'm in the union now, man.
Yeah.
They have to keep me. So I remember one day, it was back when I used to smoke, and I was stopping at the store to buy some cigarettes on my way to work. And I remember asking myself, oh my God, I just said it out loud. I said, oh God, am I an alcoholic now too? Like thinking, what in the heck is going on, man? God, I just felt so defeated at that moment. Yeah. So defeated, really?
Yeah.
I picked myself up out of that other
You're not
bullshit.
a heroin addict anymore, but now you're an alcoholic.
Yeah, I'm not a drug addict anymore.
Yeah.
I'm an alcoholic now. And it's it was a harsh reality.
Yeah. And then what'd you do with that?
Nothing. Just kept on drinking.
Just kept drinking.
That's the way you do it. You got to in order for it to go away, you got to just drink over it.
Yeah.
Drink past that.
Get
that shitty feeling.
Get a good enough buzz so you don't think about it anymore.
You don't think about it.
Right.
No more, Mommy, please don't drink. Oh, you got to drink more because Mommy has to drink.
Right.
It was hard. It was really hard because knowing I wanted to do better and not being able to.
Yeah.
I couldn't not drink.
Yeah.
It was beyond my power.
Did you know anything about AA at that time? Anything about
the 12
steps?
I didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I went to an NA meeting back when I was at that rehab with one of the girls who I ended up shooting cocaine with after, but, whatever. We went to an NA meeting together.
And then shot some coke.
Yeah. And I thought it was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. it was a really small meeting. It was, I don't know. It was just, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
Or maybe I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I needed to ruin my life a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A few more years,
Yeah.
And so, And then what did I ended up getting another boyfriend and that drank and used just like I did.
Yeah.
So that was good. We were pals, and I got a DUI. He was drunker than I was. So this is my second DUI too. It wasn't my first one, it was my second one. So, because I had already gotten another one driving home.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, I don't remember exactly the details of the first one, but the second one, he was drunker than I was, so I drove, and my cousin was in the back seat. My cousin Tanya, my cousin Tanya.
Yeah.
She was in the back. I blame her. I said, it's your fault that I got a DUI.
Yeah.
She was in the back seat, and she rolled down the window and started throwing up out the window because she got too drunk. So, of course, I get pulled over.
Sure.
And I get arrested. And I'm wearing some sleazy little dress, and it's cold at jail. And, so I ended up getting arrested, getting that second DUI. And so they gave me AA meetings. Some classes. I had to do those classes. I had to do those classes for a long time. I did it for like 9 months. And it was just a pain in the ass because I didn't have a license. I wasn't supposed to drive. I did anyways, but I didn't have a license. And I don't know. It was just, that was kind of.
You went to classes. Did you go to an AA meeting?
Yeah, I had to go to AA.
What was the first AA meeting you went to?
I was at the Costa Mesa Club.
You went to the Costa Mesa Club. Mm-hmm. Walked in there. Do you remember?
It was an hour and a half. It was awful.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that was said.
And
Not a
what
word.
am I doing with these people?
I was just like, why is there anything shorter than an hour and a half?
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, they are cutting into my drinking time. Right? So one of the guys at the class told me about a meeting, another one that was only an hour, and it was at 5:30. So I went to that one.
Which one was that? The Newport Club?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the Newport Club, 5:30, fish out of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
I didn't get sober right away. Not at all. I don't think I got sober. I got the DUI, I think, in the summer. So it was like July or August. And I didn't get sober till March.
Yeah.
So I was going to meetings. We had my brother has a friend, his name's Joe. And Joe drank and used just like me. Like, we drank together. We would see each other at the Connection. Joe was just like me. Mm-hmm. He drank and used like me, and he was sober, 2 years. And he lived right by me, so he would come over and see me. Mm-hmm. And I was like always in some sort of disarray, like, I was either drunk, drinking, have some random person over. Mm-hmm. There was some sort of chaos going on. And one day Joe came over, and and ironically I hadn't started drinking yet, and I don't know what was going on. I guess this was supposed to happen, the way that things all fell into place. And Joe came over, and he told me that he was really struggling. And I go, oh, Joe, I have to get this card signed. Let's come with me over to this meeting. I go, I think you'll like it. Because it was like I saw what was going on. I saw that there was like a lot of people there, and everybody was happy.
It was
they were
fun
laughing,
back then.
We were having fun.
Yeah.
And I was not having fun.
Right.
It was Linda party of one, mm-hmm. And so I said, I think you'll like this meeting. And so Joe went with me to the meeting, and he didn't tell me that I could have just signed the card. Like, nobody told me that. It was so annoying.
It's funny. So many people tell those stories, and they're like, I didn't know I could just sign this card.
I did not
We probably
know.
shouldn't say it on here because we want people to be fooled.
Well, you don't need to. It was great that I didn't know that because it ended up saving me.
Right.
So I go to get my card signed. Joe shares, and I watched the magic of recovery happen for my friend. I watched people come up to him and give him their numbers, invite him to other, coffee club things, and I was like, wow, I was impressed, you know, and it gave me a teeny tiny sliver of hope. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, I did not believe, like, I thought that it was going to work fine for you and everybody else, but it wasn't going to work for somebody like me.
Right.
Like, stuff had happened. Life was going on, and it was not good.
Right.
And I didn't think it was going to work. And so, it gave me a teeny tiny bit of hope. And on March 4th, 1992, I said that I said a sincere prayer. Because prior to that, all my prayers were always,
How long
if
ago
you
was
get me
March
out of
4th
this,
after that meeting you went to? With
I don't
this
even
guy?
know. I don't know. I can't.
But
I wish
you
I
drank
knew.
after that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Come on.
But you remember seeing that with that guy.
It wasn't
like,
too long.
Oh, this
it
thing
wasn't
works.
too long
Yeah.
after that, because from August to March.
Mm-hmm.
So in between that time, it was in between there. And so, but I said that prayer. I said an honest, sincere prayer. Because prior to that, all my prayers were, get me out of this one, and if you do this, I'll do that. It was always a bargain, never, like, nothing sincere. So this time I said that sincere prayer, and I asked God to help me. Help me to not drink today, is what I asked.
Yeah.
Help me to not drink today.
And you had heard that in a meeting or something, or you just said it?
I just said it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little bit of hope, and I think it was enough.
Yeah.
It was enough. It was a small window of opportunity for me, and I took it, and I asked God to help me not drink that day, and I haven't had a drink since. And I didn't like do all the, A, B, and C right away. I didn't drink, for the first 30 days, but I was drinking like lots of coffee, and I was staying up all night, and I was like, hadn't figured out that I could have just drank decaf, and I got somebody.
Did you go to meetings a lot? Mm-hmm. The first 30 days? Like
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went every day, and I didn't get I hadn't gotten anybody to sponsor me yet, so I waited till I had 30 days because I wasn't sure I was going to stick around, and I didn't want to waste anybody's time, and I kind of wanted to just
check
be
it out
under the radar again,
Yeah.
and just do whatever. And so when I finally asked somebody to help me, they said, well, why don't you, because I told them what I was doing, and they go, well, why don't you drink decaf? And I was like, oh my God, I never would have thought of that. You mean I don't have to stay up all night?
That's hilarious.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So that happened.
So at 30 days you got a sponsor?
Yeah.
And then what?
Life started changing. I started following direction and doing what I needed to do to take care of me and fix the stuff that was, the past.
Yeah.
Started trying to be a better parent.
What was that first year like?
The first year was interesting. I was still super scared. Like I couldn't even walk down the liquor aisle in the grocery store. Mm-hmm. I was so scared. I was scared of everything. Cause I felt like it was it was really precarious. I wasn't I didn't have a lot of time in there. It wasn't like I had a strong,
you didn't
deep
feel
foundation.
safe yet. Yeah.
I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
So I couldn't we'd do family things, and they'd go, we're gonna go to Sunday brunch for Mother's Day, and I'd be all like, oh shit. So I'd go, okay, well I'm going, I'm getting I would go to right when they said we're gonna be there at 11, I'd be there at 11. I'd go, I'd eat, I'd do whatever I needed to do, and then I'd be out. I'd be the first one to leave, or the first one there, first one to go, because I wanted to participate, and I wanted to be, a better person, a better human, and family member, but I also didn't want to lose my sobriety, and I was scared.
Yeah.
So I'd just go in, and family, they're a trigger.
Yeah.
Big time. God, I love my family, but they're they know.
Yeah.
They know me. Mm-hmm. And they know how to push all my buttons.
All our families do. Yeah. 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 So what was that like? Monique was 10?
She was 9 when I got sober.
9.
She gave me my first cake when she was 10.
She was 10.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that feel?
Overwhelming feeling of gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, we're doing this.
Yeah. Yes.
Whew.
So that first year was really a big deal and an important deal to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yes.
And your daughter,
Yep.
Monique. gave you
I mean,
that
because she
cake.
was with me. Like I would bring her with me because sometimes my grandma would watch her for me, but sometimes she couldn't. So I would take her with me, and I was going every day. So it was like,
Hang out down at the club.
Yeah, do your homework.
Joey and Catherine hung out
Do
down
your
at the
home-
club.
do your
like,
homework.
It's like that kid grew up in the club. Yeah.
do your homework. Do your homework. Play checkers, chess, play the pinball, whatever.
Play the pinball
Yeah.
machine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wear it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so, okay, so that first year, you just felt like you could do it. Like,
Yeah.
And then like, talk to me about like, what happened in life after that?
Oh God. Okay. Let's see. So of course, I met a guy. I always meet a guy,
Yeah.
and he ended up being a guy that couldn't stay sober.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate, but it wasn't, because it kind of like, there's always lots of lessons. Every single chapter in my life has been a series of lessons.
Yeah.
So it was a series of lessons, knowing that like I am powerless over drugs and alcohol, no matter whose body they're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. And I can't stop anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it forced me to go to Al-Anon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The 3 C's Al-Anon. What's that?
can't cure it, didn't cause it, and can't cure it, didn't cause it, can't cure it, and can't control it.
Can't control it. Yeah.
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 Ooh.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just learned those like last week.
Oh,
after
really?
This many years.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
Yeah.
I've been going for many, many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you meet a guy, he can't stay sober.
Yeah. Met lots of guys. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then you got married, right?
And then I got married. Well, let's back up. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here, okay?
Yeah.
So I met my ex-husband,
Mm-hmm.
and before we got married, and I got pregnant.
Yeah.
So
Okay, you got pregnant before you got married.
got pregnant, had her before I got married. We didn't get married till after he was still married to his ex-wife.
Yeah.
I was at wife number 3. He's on wife 4 now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Who's counting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but it's all good. They don't live around here. They're in Tennessee. But yeah, and we've been divorced for way longer than we were ever married.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had Catherine, married Donnie, got divorced from Donnie, went a little wild. That's when you and I were going wild with Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
The the fun days.
Yeah, I got to get him in here. He's hilarious.
He's
Yeah.
super funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we, had our crazy days, going to all the shows and
Yeah.
doing all the things, and stone cold sober,
Yeah.
running amok,
Yeah.
having some fun. And, and then I met, Troy?
Troy.
No, well, it was the one before him, but then, then was Troy,
Yeah.
the shoeless one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to him the other day. I'm mad at him right now.
Oh,
but
Troy?
That's a different story.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well.
He screwed up a practical joke of mine. So,
Oh, well.
yeah. But yeah, so my story, and I'll say it on the air. I got sober when I was 22. That's when I kind of first met you.
Yeah.
And you and I started really hanging out right when you got divorced.
Yeah. When Joey was a baby.
Joey was little,
guy.
man, and you taught me. I mean, if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have been able to be a parent. I always tell people that. It's like, that was like,
Oh my God.
I would get this little baby, and I'd be like, I'll go to Linda and Mary's house and hang out. And you guys saved my life. I was 25 years old, 26 years old, just not even knowing what the hell I was doing. And I look at Joey now. Joey's 27. I think about him with a baby, and it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh God, that's awful, huh?
Like,
Sheesh.
and he's way more mature at 27 than I was at that age, And then but yeah, it's like, and then you know what was what's really cool, and I want to just talk about and ask you about, is like, the whole time we've been friends, like and that's what's so interesting about you, saying you were this person that just kind of wanted to be under the radar. And since I've known you, you're the leader of the pack of just women doing badass things and getting sober, and your meeting you have at your house. I don't know if you still have it at your house, but like you moved it, but like
COVID.
Like, how did that shift, like, for you? Because you talking about your past. Like, I don't know that Linda. I don't know that Linda that wants to stay under the radar. I know the Linda that's like out there and helping people. And I mean,
well, I like to help people. I just don't like to help people out in front of everybody.
In front of everybody, but like you having 2 or 3 friends, that doesn't like register with me. Like, so talk to me about like the development of that and like how that happened. And you have that meeting on Wednesday night that's just huge, and like.
Well, the Wednesday meeting started was because I had a bunch of women that I was helping. I was sponsoring a bunch of women, and then I was going through the book, and I kept going through the book over and over and over and over again. And so it was like, well, why don't we just all do this together?
Right.
So that's how it all started, and that was when I was with Donnie. Mm-hmm. So that was a long time ago.
So you started that meeting before you got divorced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was small. It was just like my girls, and then it just started. People wanted to come.
Yeah.
Friends wanted to come, and then other people wanted to come, and we were still doing it in my living room up until COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I live in a little condo, and it was like, we would fill up the living room and up the stairs and, in the kitchen area. But during COVID, it was like nobody wanted to come inside. So we started doing it in Lisa's backyard. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did.
What is that like? I mean, do you look at that? Like, I mean, people look at you and go, Linda helps so many women, and it's like, like, do you think about yourself that way or no?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
It just kind of happened.
I just realized that, well, I like it, for one. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing people change, grow and change. It's like magic.
Who's the first person you helped where you like sponsored and you felt like, oh my God, the light went off in that person's eyes?
It's a person that I don't sponsor anymore, but we're still close.
Yeah.
Her name's Christy.
Yeah.
And she's still sober, and she's got like.
What was that like for you the first years. Time? Do you remember like holy shit, like steps are working?
Yeah, yeah, because she was doing some hinky things initially, and we just started talking about stuff, and I would just go, silly girl, that we don't do that when we're sober, and just kind of like, instead of shaming her, making her feel bad, I just kind of made it like funny.
Yeah.
Like I used humor as far as like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We're that's not the way we do things anymore.
Right.
We're sober now, and so I don't know, that was the one, and we still talk. We talk every now and then, and whenever we talk, it's like we just talked yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. What do you think about like today, like these young people, or just people our age getting sober and what they're dealing with the fentanyl, and it's so. Like,
I'd be dead.
Were talking about
I would have been dead.
I would think I would have
for sure
too.
Would have been dead. For sure would have been dead. There was no way I would have gotten this. God graced me. Like, I swear, I wouldn't be alive. If this, what was going on now was going on back then, most of us wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much had a death wish anyway, But yeah, it's so scary and so sad.
Yeah.
Like, you got to walk around with Narcan.
You have to.
It's like,
it's like we did a study, like some research the other day, and it's like 300 people a day are dying.
Oh, yeah.
Every 11 days, as many people die from overdoses as it did in the Twin Towers.
So
our politicians
sick.
are barely talking about it. It's nuts.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, and what can you do? And
who's
doing that? Like, it's like, what? Yeah. I don't understand. It doesn't mean you're losing your customers by doing that. What is wrong with you people? I have no idea.
I think it's just so profitable that, it's coming across. I don't really know the answer to it on the supply side, but, obviously the demand side, we're doing what we can in our meetings and, with
I don't even, and then it's like, how do you really address it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complex issue. It's definitely a complex issue.
I have no idea.
What is your life like today? 32 years sober. Like, what's the most important thing to you? Like, what's it look like?
Okay, well, most important, like in order of importance, is my relationship with God, my sobriety date, and my grandkids.
Yeah.
Then my kids,
Yeah.
because I love my kids like nobody's business, but my grandkids, I love them like beyond measure. There's like nothing like it.
Wow.
I look at them and I just want to like melt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you ever need a
You
kid,
have two now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandson, granddaughter.
Yeah.
My two favorite kids, two favorite people in the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to hang out with your grandkids all day.
Well, my granddaughter, she's sassy,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
just like her mom.
Yeah.
And her grandma.
Yeah.
And my grandson, he doesn't even know how to talk yet. He's still learning how to talk.
He's a little baby.
He says do.
Yeah,
He's so cute. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love them.
That's great.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time with them, and I work, and I go to meetings. I do once a month. I go up to the Midnight Mission. I don't really like to talk about that too much, but
Yeah.
that's something that I love to do. It's like
It's really neat
my
that you guys do that.
passion. I really really love it. Being of service to the homeless, and then we do a panel up there. So it's a highlight of my month for sure.
Yeah.
I'm big in service. I do a lot of service.
Yeah.
I have a lot of women that I help, and yeah,
That's awesome.
that's kind of like my life.
Yeah. So the last question I ask everybody and
Okay.
that comes on here, it's like, what is your message to that person that's out there struggling with addiction, alcoholism? Like, what's your message to them? What would you want to say to them if you knew they were going to listen?
There's hope. There's hope.
Yeah.
We do recover. It's so funny. I have a friend that I don't know if you know her, Erica Ball. She lives in Texas.
Yeah.
She has a company, or not a company. She has a nonprofit. It's called We Are Those People.
Oh, wow.
And for my 32 years, I put on the T-shirt because she had given me a T-shirt. And I put it on, and I, had somebody take a picture of me so that I had her T-shirt on. It's
Yeah.
like, we are those people.
Yeah.
Like, we are those people. Like, people will say, oh, that guy on the street. That guy on the street, there's hope for that guy on the street.
Mm-hmm.
There's hope for him.
Yeah.
And he is somebody's child.
Yeah. Somebody's child, somebody's brother, somebody's something.
Exactly.
So,
And nobody is beyond redemption.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. We are all capable of change.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we have the tools to do it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not alone. This isn't something that we do alone.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to reach out for help.
Yep.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was really special for me to get to do. You did a great job.
All right.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.